Hey YouTubers, morning from guys. We got a great video today. Last week I did a video on sardines. I love sardines, nobody else does, but people loved the video because it was a food fight video where I compared different sardines with each other. And people said not only did they like that format, but they want to see another one on different foods. And some people said, why not do TV dinners? I'm not a person that eats a lot of TV dinners anymore. I did when I was a kid, but I said, you know what? Why not do TV dinners? We got 7 TV dinners. We're going to go over and have a food fight with all these different dinners. So, and we're going to judge them and put them on the big board. Let's see. Take a look at the big board. Show them the big board, George.
You'll see the big board.
We're going to go to have the different brands. Then we're going to do the cost by the unit cost and cost per ounce. I'll put the cost per grams in the video description for my friends in the rest of the world that has a normal method of measuring. Then will be the look, the smell, the feel, the taste, and the ingredients I've already popped in there. They're either beef or pork, or beef, pork, and chicken, or one's all beef. Then I put the amount of ingredients. I'm not going to read each individual ingredients because it would take all day, but you can kind of get the idea of how many ingredients are, and the value will be the total, which one comes up the most in each one of the categories. So we're going to be cooking. When I say we, I mean me. I'm not French. What, do you got a frog in your pocket? What? No, we're gonna
Monsieur, don't try to be funny with me.
we're gonna. I'm not gonna show you cooking these because they're all gonna be microwave. But I'm gonna show you taking them out of the box and then seeing how they taste. I'm not gonna eat the entire thing because I want to get this over real quick and start on something else. So, but we'll have a as I see it, how it tastes for each individual one, so you can get an idea of which ones seem to be the best as far as I'm concerned. So guys, enough talking. Let's get started. I'm going to cook them as per directed in the package. We're going to open them up on camera, and you're going to see each individual one. And then we'll put up on the big board as we get the results. So guys, hang in there. We'll be right back with the first one. Let's start with the first one on the board is Banquet Salisbury steak meal made with mashed potatoes and real cream as opposed to unreal cream. It's going to be a good day. All right, guys. See you real soon. Okay, everybody. This is going to be our Banquet Salisbury steak meal. They make a big issue over it's being mashed potatoes made with real cream. It's got 360 calories for the entire meal, 5 grams of saturated fat, 1,330 milligrams of sodium, and 15 grams of total sugar. And it's got corn, it's got an apple dessert, mashed potatoes made of real cream, and the Salisbury steak, which is made from beef, pork, and chicken. There are, if you read the ingredients with a microscope, there's 54 ingredients, and there could be more because sometimes when they have a component, there are extra ingredients in. Like say they have margarine. I'm not saying there's margarine in there, but if there is, there could be like 10 or 12 ingredients in margarine as opposed to butter, which is usually like maybe salt. So you could actually have more than 54 ingredients here. So this is the lowest cost of all the 7. It's going to be $1.68 and 14.1 cents per ounce. So let's see, it's been in the required amount of time in the old microwave, and that means it's sat for 2 minutes. We had to stop it in between and do some dancing with it as per the instructions. Oh, got the thermometer here. It recommends that you make sure that it's thoroughly to 165. This is 168, so I think we're safe. The mashed potatoes, they seem to tell you they were extra good because of all that creamy goodness. So let's see what the mashed potatoes are like. To be fair, let's wait a minute and let this cool down. Okay, let's test the potatoes again. They're very watery, not soupy, but close. They're a little granular, not what I expected. The flavor is not bad. It's salty, but it has a little beef flavor to it. If you're going to go to the trouble to add cream and promote it, I'm a little disappointed in the mashed potatoes. That flavor is not bad, but it's not mashed potato-y. It's more like it wanted to become pea soup. Let's try this piece of Salisbury steak, which seems to be very tender. There seems to be like a coating and a different color on the inside. The texture is identical to what you would have like if you had a thick piece of bologna. There's a lot of processed meat here. There's a little bit of a bite to it, like maybe where they have some bone meal where they ground stuff up. But it's not gelatinous, but it looks a little wiggly to be meat. Let's try the corn. The corn is not dry, but it doesn't have any aftertaste like a sweetness to it. I mean, there's a little sweet, but it's not, I don't get a really strong corn aftertaste. But the texture is fine. It just has like they were making corn, but they left something out. There's a teaspoon of apples here. Wow. It's almost got like a medicinal flavor. So, the look for a TV dinner, it's not bad. This brownness on top gives it a almost appetizing look. The smell, the cinnamon from the apple smells good, and there's a little bit of a corn flavor. And the meat is kind of bland. There's nothing strong, but it's not unappetizing. The feel in my mouth, like I said, this is. Let me have one more. Boy, you guys, you're getting your money's worth today. Oh, it's just too soft and wiggly to be. Well, I think we know what it tasted like, didn't I already tell you? we already knew what that tasted like. So, it's if I was hungry, I'd eat it. So that is Banquet Salisbury steak meal. That's what we got going on for number one. That was the least expensive one of the bunch. Got a little bit of an aftertaste. So there. Oh Lord, what have I done? On to number two. Guys, number two is Marie Callender Salisbury steak. We're going to do two different types of Marie calendars. This is one serving. We're going to do one with 3 servings. They seem to be a different amount of ingredients, and I thought I would do the other one just to see, to compare between the two. So this is the Marie calendar. This is the 14-ounce one. It has 510 calories, 9 grams of fat saturated, 1,240 milligrams of sodium, and 5 uh, grams of total sugar. This is about 24.9 cents an ounce. And Marie Callender likes to let people know that it has no artificial flavors or artificial colors or preservatives. But it does have, I counted the ingredients, there's a total of 54. And that's a lot of ingredients for meat, macaronis, and potato and gravy. But that's what it is. So let's look what we got here. How does it look? This looks more substantial than the previous one, the Banquet. This seems to be, it's more inviting. I think because of the large chunks of potato and the macaroni and cheese, I think we got over 165 on the. Yep, 166. So right away, the Salisbury steak, it's tender, but it has a little bit of firmness to it. It isn't like a jello like the previous one. The potato is not mushy. There's a firmness to it. The macaroni seems to be creamy, not dry. Nothing burned on the edges. Let's try the macaroni. I'm an aficionado of macaroni and cheese. The macaronis are tender, not uh, they're not boiled to death. There's a tenderness to them, but a little firmness to them also. Has a creamy taste. It it's not a real strong cheese taste, but there is a creaminess to it. It's not unpleasant, but I don't recognize any cheese flavor that I said, yeah, that's a specific type of cheese. It's just kind of a generic cheese, like Velveeta. See what the potato tastes like. Hmm. When I bite into potato, it just kind of dissolves, which is not something I expect in a potato. Hmm. The potato is like something that's been frozen and thawed out several times. It doesn't have it. There's no bad texture, and it smells fine, and no bad taste. But I should say the texture. It's when you bite into it, it just it dissolves, which is not something I expected with potato. Now the meat is better than the previous one. The previous one just looked like a paste that was solidified. This almost has a little structure to it. It looks like a firm meatloaf. There's a little bit of a gristly flavor to it. I mean, texture to it. The smell is neutral, maybe a little bit beefy. It's not bad. It's just not good. There's just um, like if you have a meatloaf, there's a little bit of uh, a meatiness to it, and this is sort of it's like a blended meat that just doesn't have much going on. Let me see if I can get some of that gravy. Wow. I like the sauce. In fact, I wish there was more. Um, I would imagine the sauce would be one of the least expensive parts. I think they should have more sauce. The meat, the texture is just, but at least it has. I mean, it almost wants to be meat. It almost wants to be meat. Hmm. Okay. The look of it is fine. I would rate this um, not a problem with the look of it. I mean, it could be better, but it's certainly fine. The smell, actually, I'm not like there's not a really strong pleasant smell, but there's no bad smell, and it's got some there's a little bit there's some pleasant smell coming from this. I don't want to be too critical. I wouldn't say this is uh, neutral. There's actually a nice aroma partly. The feel, it's very close to being just like a bologna feel. It's not that bad, but it's pretty close. It's not like the meatloaf or the regular Salisbury steak experience you would expect. Um, the taste, there is a little beefy to it, and this sauce I think is the best part. The potatoes are the biggest disappointment, really. When they're firm with in the fork, but when you put them in your mouth and you start chewing, they just dissolve. So um, we'll see how the next Marie Callender one does. That's three meals in the box. Okay, this is our second Marie Callender's uh, Salisbury steak. It's got uh, a different ingredient profile, so I thought I'd do this one also to see what it tasted like compared to the others. It's the 25.25 ounce container of the Salisbury steak, 18 grams of protein, 310 calories, 6 grams saturated fat, 1,060 milligrams of sodium, and 2 total grams of sugar. And there's 3 servings in here. This is going to be a cost of $6.57. However, it comes out to 25.8 cents per ounce. There's only 33 ingredients, the lowest of all of them that I tested or I am testing, and it's beef and pork. And like the other Marie Callender's, it does not have the artificial flavor, coloring, or preservatives. Uh, it's so far the most appetizing looking of all of the ones that we have tested. And there's 3 in here. Let's try the potato. Nothing is burnt or crisp around the edges, so it cooks evenly. Give this another chance. This is better than the previous one. It's still too soft for me. It's not mushy, but it's close. But at least it doesn't just dissolve like the previous potato. There's a nice gravy. This actually, let me get some more potato. I love potatoes and gravy. I could just have that instead of meat. Let's have another piece. And I like the skin on there. It's not mushy, but it's not dissolving. It's uh it's almost good, but it's very close. The meat is the most firm so far of any I've tested, which is a good sign. Has a peppery. Oh, that's a good smell. That's a good smell. I'm having got a good feeling about this. Looks like a little gristle in there. This is very close to a meatloaf. It's firmer than the last piece of meat we had. That was from Marie Callender. I prefer this one over the other. Let me get another piece from a separate. Uh, See how that cuts? There's actually a little bit of firmness to it. It's got a peppery, kind of a peppery beef smell to it, which I like. Definitely get this one over the other one. Yep. That was the best potato so far. So the look is the best so far out of all of them. It looked actually good. The smell is good. There's no hesitant, wishy-washy, a doubt. It has a good smell. The feel, it's not as close to fresh meatloaf or fresh Salisbury steak, but it's very close. And the taste, I like it. Um, this so far is the best one. It's practically the same price as the previous Marie Callender, but you get three different patties with some potatoes. You don't get the macaronis, which weren't that uh, special to begin with. It's 25.8 cents per ounce, where the other one was 24.9 cents, so a tiny bit more. But it's 6.57. You get three patties. The other one was 3.48. You get one patty. So that was a surprise. I'm kind of happy that we got. I didn't I didn't want to besmirch the name of Salisbury. All right, let's on to the next one. Okay, guys, up next is Hungry Man Salisbury steak. I think this was Paul Lynn's favorite TV dinner. We got 560 calories, 9 grams of fat, 1,720 milligrams of sodium, and 17 grams of total sugars. This is going to be a cost of $3.74 or 23.4 cents per serving. It's got mashed potatoes and two patties. I think it's got the most colorful, pleasant, attractive of all of the TV dinners for Salisbury steak, and it comes with a chocolate brownie. And I've got a good feeling about this. It does have 58 ingredients minimum, and check out these green beans. Firm. That's a very good green bean. It's not overcooked, undercooked. A little bit of a sweet flavor. Let's try the mashed potatoes. So far, the mashed potatoes have been a big disappointment in all of them. The texture is fine. It has a potato taste. It has a mashed potato feel. There's almost a buttery taste. Okay, what do we come for? The Salisbury steak. I know what you guys are saying. How many Salisbury steaks can this guy eat?
I can eat 50 eggs.
Shaking the bush, boss. Shaking the bush. Oh, what does it smell like? Actually, that brownie kind of overpowers the other smells. Okay. Actually, it's not, once again, it's not as meatloafy as I want, but it's not floppy. It's not jello. It's got a firmness to it. And by gosh, there's a little bit of a gristle to it, and there's some fattiness to it, but it really wants to work. It wants, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't run home to have this. Let me have another bite. It's got the texture of Spam. So if you like Spam that tastes a little bit like beef, but this has beef and pork in it too. The gravy is not too salty. Let me just get some gravy. Actually, the meat is got the flavor. The gravy is a little more bland than I thought. Let's try what everyone's been waiting for. Is the brownie. It's a little doughy. It does have a nice chocolatey aftertaste to it, though. It's not chemically. So, the gravy could be better. And the meat is, it tastes like a Spam texture, but it has a nice flavor. There's a little bit of a greasiness taste to it. But the green beans are fine. So this is kind of a surprising outlook. I like this one pretty good. I wasn't expecting a lot from this. Maybe it's the brownie. Got a sweet tooth. So yeah, it's like I said, it's 23.4 cents per ounce, 374, and it's got two patties instead of just one. So yeah, a little bit surprised. And it had 58 ingredients, beef and pork. All right, that was on to the next one. This is the Stouffer Salisbury steak. It's the one I had the most hope for. It's made with 100% beef. It's also the most expensive one. It was $3.48 and 36.1 cents per ounce. It has 310 calories. It's 1,010 milligrams of sodium, 4 grams of sugar, 23 grams of protein, and 7 grams of fat. It only comes with one patty and a small amount of pasta with cheese sauce. There are 53 ingredients in this entree. The macaroni looks interesting. It's a different type of pasta than the others. The other's just elbow macaroni. This is a rotilli or something. It's very firm pasta. It has a cheesy flavor. and it actually has a little bit of a cheese flavor to it. And the pasta is probably the most firm of any pasta I've ever had in a frozen entree. It's surprisingly decent. In fact, the biggest problem I have with it is there isn't enough. They should have more. It like sometimes with the pasta and the cheese, there just isn't any aftertaste. It just disappears. Or this actually tastes like there's a real cheese there. But let's get on to the main entree, the main part. What does this Salisbury steak taste like? It's very firm. It looks like meatloaf. Perception is half the battle. There's supposed to be some onions in there too. Let's see if we taste the onions. Yeah, this has a good taste. And it's got a nice smell to it. It's not peppery or as strong as the Hungry Man, but this has a nice aroma to it. It actually smells like meat. Now the mouthfeel, when I eat it, it's very it tastes like a homemade Salisbury steak or a meatloaf. I was hoping that this would taste like this or even better, and I'm satisfied. This is something I wouldn't run home to have, but I would definitely eat it. I would definitely eat it. I'd definitely buy it again. Let's say that. There is more gravy or juice than in some of the other entrees, which is good. I'm pretty happy overall. The juice or the gravy, I wanted to try some separate, and when I did, I found out that even though it tastes good, the meat actually has a better flavor. Sometimes with the entrees, the gravy carries the whole boat, so the whole show. But in this case, I think the meat is actually a little bit better tasting than the gravy. So it's not a 10. It did knock it out of the park, but so far it's the best out of all of them that I've had. Okay, this is the Michelina Salisbury steak. New recipe, and it's made from scratch gravy. So that's a good sign. It's the bad thing about it is it comes in a container, and the directions are on the bottom. So after you heat it, you're supposed to take it out and do something else for another couple of minutes. And if you don't remember what time you were supposed to cook it again, it's on the bottom, so you have to hold it up above your head to read it unless you can remember how long. But basically, after you cook it, you stop and stir it up for a little bit, then put it back for another couple of minutes. But if you forgot how many minutes, you don't know, because it's on the bottom of this really hot container that you can't read unless you put it up above your head. So the potatoes, it's they look like mashed potatoes, but I thought I'd start with the gravy at first, and the gravy had a meat taste to it, but it didn't taste like any meat I could recognize. It didn't specifically taste like beef. It just tasted like some sort of generic meat taste. It had a little bit of an aftertaste that I didn't like. The gravy is not always the most important part, though. I mean, you want I guess the most part is the meat, but let's try the potatoes next. The potatoes were the biggest surprise. They had a very strong, greasy aftertaste, and it wasn't granular, so that was good. But it was really kind of pasty, doughy like paste. I guess pasty is the word. Gluey. It was kind of gluey. It was gluey with a very strong greasy aftertaste, with maybe some peppers in it, pepper flakes. The meat, such as it was, very very thin, very thin, and it just kind of fell apart. It's like pudding, and I did catch a piece there and put it in my mouth and taste it, and it just dissolved like jello. It was I don't want to eat this again. it was not good. The smell was neutral. There was not a bad odor, and the look, it could have been worse. But the feel of it in your mouth and the taste, it was very bad, very low. I'm not gonna lie. That wasn't. This isn't the one. This isn't the one. Run away. Cost $1.34 at 16.8 cents per ounce, and that it had 200 calories, 970 milligrams of sodium, 2 grams of sugar, 9 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat, and it had 75 ingredients made from beef and pork. 75 ingredients. Yes. Boston Market Salisbury steak is made by a well-known fast food outlet, Boston Market. They make very good food, and it was $3.32 and 22.9 cents per ounce, made from beef and pork, and it has 69 ingredients. So 69 ingredients for the Boston Market. It had 530 calories, 1,450 milligrams of sodium, 4 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein, and 32 grams of fat. Has some cheese sauce with the pasta and the Salisbury steak and the gravy. When I opened it up, it had a piece of Salisbury steak over on top of the pasta, which didn't look right. The smell is fine. Making sure the temperature is correct. The pasta comes in a cheese sauce, but it was very disappointing. The pasta itself was overcooked, and the sauce was just really disappointing. There was no aftertaste of any cheese sauce. However, the gravy of the Salisbury steak was quite good. It was flavorful, and I could taste onions.
I was worried seeing how disappointing the macaroni was, but the sauce was good. The Salisbury steak itself had a nice firmness to it, and it was actually it was close to reminding me of meatloaf or regular homemade Salisbury as far as the texture when I was cutting into it. The taste, once again, was surprising. I wasn't expecting a lot. It was, uh, it wasn't the best of all, but I think it was very close. I was kind of disappointed initially how the food was presented and how it looked and how disappointing the pasta was, but the meat turned out to be was good. Once again, I wouldn't run home to have it, but it was definitely I would buy it again. Uh, but because of the pasta, I might pick two other ones on this list. We'll go over at the end. But I'm thinking this has to be maybe third place. Yeah. The juice, the gravy was worth trying again. All right, let's do a roundup, and we'll see who the winners are. Okay, the food fight TV dinners. Salisbury steak, starting from the back of the pack. Michelina, 15 points. The look was below average. The smell was average. The feel was very, very poor. The taste was very, very poor. Made from beef and pork with a minimum of 75 ingredients, it garnered 15 points. Coming in number 2 on the bottom was Banquet, $1.68, the least expensive of them all. It had a look a little bit above average, a smell a little bit above average. The feel was below average, taste was below average, and made from beef, pork, and chicken, 54 ingredients, total of 22 points. Number 3, surprisingly, Marie Callender, the 14-ounce meal, and it only garnered 23 points because the look, although it was 7, the smell was a little bit average, but the feel and the taste was definitely average or below. The next up was Boston, no, was Hungry Man. Hungry Man was $3.74, 23.4 cents per ounce, and it had an excellent look. Probably one of the, maybe the best out there. The smell was a little bit above average, feel was a little bit above average, and the taste was very, very good. It was beef, pork, and 58 ingredients, and it garnered 27. Now, coming in at number 3 to the top was Boston Market, $3.32, 22.9 cents per ounce. It looked 6, was a little above average. The smell, a little bit above average. However, the feel was pretty good. It was a 7. The taste was pretty good. It was a 7. Beef pork, 69 parts, and it garnered 28 points. Coming in at number 2 to the top was the Maria Callender, 25.5 ounces. It had the 3 patties with $6.57 and 25.8 cents per ounce. The look was 8. Very good look. Smell was a very good smell. The feel was not bad at all. Taste was not bad at all. It was made from beef and pork and 33 parts. It had a tie with Stouffers, and I'm going to give Stouffers number 1 because it had a better taste overall. Stouffers was $3.48. The most expensive one, 36.1 cents per ounce. The look was 7. The smell was 7. However, the feel was 8. It was very close, just being meatloaf or homemade, and the taste tasted like beef. It was made from beef, 53 parts, and number 1 value, and I gave it 30 points. So, guys, that was my food fight for TV dinner, Salisbury steak. I've got on a bunch of videos on my recipe playlist. I've got over 1,300 videos. I make new videos every week. Been doing it for 16 years, and got other types of playlists too. You might want to check out because I do have a variety channel. But this is what I want. If you guys know any other food you'd like me to do a food fight on, please let me know in the comments, or what you think of your TV dinners, or how you responded to the video. What do you think about my results and my recommendations? Alright guys, I'm rambling here. Take care. Been a long video, longest I've ever made. Hopefully they won't be this long in the future. Alright guys, take care. See you out there.
You'll see everything. You'll see the big board.